Well, I think Pearl Buck is one of the most inspirational women I've ever met. When I think what she did with these unadoptable children and how many children she was able to place, when I think about Papa Yoder and the Yoder family and what they did, there's no way you can be involved in the Pearl S. Buck situation without feeling good about yourself, your community, your fellow man.
Pearl Buck's name itself is really a clue to the value that this National Historic Site brings to the community. It's a pearl, it's a gem. It is something that is precious and rare.
My history with Pearl Buck International goes way back to being the first Workham House child. I was the son of an American woman and an East Indian father. And back in the late 40s, you know, people of mixed race or brown skin just weren't getting adopted. The Indian families didn't adopt me because I was part American, and the American white families didn't want to touch me because I was part Indian. So someone in the adoption agency, an adoption agency in New York, contacted Pearl Buck and asked if she would take me, and you know, she could get me placed in, you know, in Pennsylvania. So on Christmas Eve in 1949, I was delivered to Pearl Buck's house personally.
When we were little girls, we lived in Doylestown. We were left out a lot of because we were different from other children. And there was birthday parties, and there was all kinds of things that we were not invited to. Pearl Buck, by inviting us here, we were able to have a good time. In fact, better time than the kids that didn't invite us to their parties. That I think that if we didn't have that little act of kindness from her, I think we'd have a different viewpoint of what people are like, because there's some really genuinely wonderful people in the world. It's so nice to be looked at as a human being.
It's difficult because I grew up in this tough district. Daily we have to think about what are we going to eat today and tomorrow. What are we going to eat tonight? That's how it is, being poor. But there's a lot of people in need out there in the world. And we are lucky that we assume something that they cannot assume over there. We assume electricity is fine, no running water, no toilet. You use public toilet. Public toilet used to be a Japanese pillbox. It's not even flushing, it's just a 55-gallon drum with plywood on top in a hole. That's our public toilet when I was growing up. And I don't like other children to experience that.
I think the story I would tell really relates to my recent trip to the Philippines with several board members and a few advocates of Pearl Buck. I had the opportunity to meet, actually, my sponsored child, which is a very rare and humbling privilege. And we got to sit down and we got to talk, and we compared notes. And my sponsored child and I walked through the mall, and she said to me, "I'd like to buy a pair of shoes." And I said, "Great, let's go into a shoe store." And it happened to be a Payless. Ultimately, she picked out this very colorful pair of sneakers, and she just lit up like a Christmas tree over this opportunity to buy a pair of shoes. And I said, "Do you get to come to the mall often?" And she said, "Oh, I'm here with my friends all the time." And I said, "Oh, what do you like to buy?" And she looked at me and she got very serious, and her eyes got real wide, and she said, "Oh, I don't get to buy anything. We just look in the windows."
It's changed my life knowing just the awareness of what Pearl Buck has done, just because I, look at everyone equally. Maybe before, if someone wasn't the same skin color as me, maybe I would, treat them a little bit differently. Maybe I would not talk to them as they were my friend or just a little bit of a stranger, but now I feel like I can accept everyone and treat everyone equally. When you first meet someone, you shouldn't really judge them based on their skin color or what they're wearing. You should just give everyone an opportunity to show who they really are.
Little Lambs Daycare has benefited so much from our child sponsorship. We've grown a relationship with the two children that we sponsor. Our children are much more aware now of the cultures around them. They're much more aware of the countries around them, and that they are able to connect with these kids.
We learned her new language and her world that she lives in and how she feels. Her not going straight to school, she has to do work before she goes to school and when she comes back from school.
So how does it make you feel when you get to help out, help her live a better life?
Happy.
We're really lifting these children up out of abject poverty and giving them a future and a chance to pursue their dreams, to be teachers, to be doctors, to be lawyers. There are many, many cases of that happening through this program, and what wouldn't happen if they didn't have this support.
You know, and it really helps lift you on some of those difficult days. You know, there's times when I will have my computer screen, the backdrop is the faces of my sponsored children, because sometimes I need that occasional reminder, and I, more importantly, need that lift. You know, when I see those faces, it's like, that's what this is all about. That's why I'm doing this.
You know, providing $30 a month may seem like a few Starbucks, but it really goes so far. And I know with Joshua, he told me the last thing I sent him was $30. And he said he got a pair of shoes, a pair of slippers, a pair of pants, a shirt, an athletic shirt, and a ball for $30.
A vast majority of the population, they live in shanty villages. I mean, they throw up these cardboard and metal structures that are literally the size of maybe what you're used to as your kitchen, and that's their entire house for families of anywhere from 3 to 8.
I would really like to see the future of Pearl S. Buck International be one in which it's an organization that continues to carry forward the legacy of our founder, Pearl S. Buck, and continues to make changes to children's lives, one day at a time, one child at a time.
If I had a chance to talk with Pearl Buck today, I would want to just thank Gran for giving me the opportunity to do what I ended up doing.
In my mind, the number one reason for supporting an organization like Pearl S. Buck is because you can.
I can.
I can. I can.
I can.